John Rufo works on and through poetry, with work published in Ploughshares and Capilano Review, the Journal Petra, and as the poetry reviews editor for the Poetry Project newsletter. They're over here from the States, so please give them a round. John.
In the grove, I hear a groove and I'm absent. I get caught, but I like being caught. I like being sounded, surrounded by. Do you know what material I'm made out of just by touching me? Were you known? Didn't want to use any of the words inside of the machine. Rolled over thunder and high laughter, you bust up into the EQ and off goes the machine. The machine is machining and it's not thinking or thinning, my feeling machine. My little soft machine, bundled up in this weather. Here it is for you. There it goes. The stuff of galaxies is stuffed with water, forgotten containers, the easy mystery of foraging noisily. I'm nosy. Been about a year since your book, but I finally get it and then I lost it. Little flicker in the bio. Inland Empire impulses. Let the work do the work and who is the work for, and run your hair to sleep. These reproductions of violence, who are they for? I love a B-side. I love to be by your side. Church picnic, church alimony, church groan, church without church. Church miserable ecstasy, church organ, church vessel, church pump, church vitals, church quiet, church crutch, church without church. Church snowplow, church service, church porch, church field, church underground, church churn, church bustle, church tweet, church I haven't seen you in a long time, church branches, church complaint, church quarrel, church sleep, church restless, church bad attitude, church dreams, church without church. Church drag, church all over, church dance, church opening, church without church, church evening, church morning, church moraine, church landing, church sand, church sun, church without church, ocean. Noise not the way it used to be. Noise doesn't taint but is a surface, spiral jetties, ocean wave, so noise is always this collaborative thing, if it isn't anything else, because it blends so well, you can't or shouldn't see its stitches. Was this always noise's way? Did noise ever go about a singular appearance, discrete illusion, invisible music? Noise knows its noise, follows its nose, right down there to the end of the grid with teeth gritted. So noise doesn't call itself noise, the name it goes by is unknown, and even then we don't know where it comes from or where it could be going. To be inside the noise and linger there, like its own differential dance of equations. I'm coming home to the noise I know, which is organized, but only I know its system. If the system breaks down, it's a new noise, like that refuse song I refuse. Can I scream? Which when screamed, seems like an intense teenage scream, but when spoken, feels like a gentle request. May I scream, may I noise, may I notate. I want to rotate around in the rotten tree, that assembly of assonance I suck between my teeth, like a burned up ache, so there goes the German word for night, my sounded lore. Night overlaps, laps up its own water, the hoarse flow of unseen trees. I'm not even on that water yet. That history of commotion, the outmoded rites of spring. The earthquake listens differently from afar, I was told by sepulchre. The divine rites are off-putting because they seem so easy nowadays. What about the smell of the light? The noise is unwanted until it's gone, and then all of a sudden emulsion is my best friend. Make the rest a resting place. If I would be your friend, then I would, but you say such terrible things. Not that you mean it, or so you say. Noise can't keep itself busy with one thing. God only noise. He need war, as they said in the old days. Maybe they'll say it again soon. I've arrived too quickly and it started raining, so I had to get under covers. Come February, it's another story. I put myself in this noise because I wanted it so bad. And if this shows that St. Martin de Porres pours out for the poor, then he could fly too. He could fly in the face of the Vatican of the Viceroyalty, which is nothing less than a 17th century miracle and performed named Americas. Lima is the name of the city, but not the ground. London is the name of the city, but not the ground. Anyone can be a saint as long as they're not part of an ordering. Anger can never be forever and pass through locked doors. Life constantly streams away, gently stealing with rivers of all names. Nothing isn't nothing after all, praised Mary Lou Williams in her playful choir. I don't believe in winter, but I live within its winded cutting, and then shelter. Swept up dust for love of fallen skin, arise. Father, do not forgive them, for they know exactly what they are doing. My heaven spreads like a kitchen table. God spread out on a table. The examination room never was a home to anyone except those preparing erotically detailed maps of how to exclude and inculcate separations, anxiety, tortures masquerading under a name reform. Do not forgive them. Forget them. Get their forfeitures out of our faces. Focus with the alignments for the ailments, the arrival of our shared debtors for the degree of ground. So that we're a soft band, but we're not a quiet band. We grow louder in the right spaces. Similarity of sound does not disqualify difference and modulate what you have. Little ones eating the big ones in that kingdom. Cut open, arriving like a hot mass of sticky things to ingest and serve. California and New York currently rank among the top 10 regions in the United States with the highest number of federal and state prisoners. I grew up in central New York, and I moved to Southern California, and I found that these two landscapes I called home backdrop carceral regions, ground for the continued production of confinement spaces. To go upstate, but also, how does this land listen and tend to those bound up in those architectures? I want to know what has already happened, a piece disturbed by the very space. So I'm not interested in that copy-paste gathering. I don't want to re-rehearse that appropriate citation. Coarse grain of action runs rampant and opposes the curriculum. The syllabus is chock full of reductive syllogisms. Meanwhile, people choke. Green copperoos with patches of sweat. Why would you offer, as a solution, making the prison more like a university when you know, well, that schools are already modeled with prisons? That's for Elizabeth Hinton. How many metal detectors must you walk through? Send as many books as possible to persons who are incarcerated without sending your straitjacket pedagogy. That's as clear as I can be. So that there is a spectator and specters moving over the faces of the water. So that at Rikers Island, the land, and Rikers Island, the jail, share the same name, but are not the same. And in the late 18th century, that island was sold to the city with the ugly watermark of Rikers, which was never their land to begin with, since land has no ownership, a garret of that garden. It's too easy to make that prison a metaphor for everything, because everything gets drawn up and mapped from the architecture of undertaking capture and its failures in the face of life. But what happens in that parade of connections to hold them together? And that evil stands on solid waste that is slowly sinking every day. Flowers can never make a prison, but reform turns on this very idea, that if it is beautiful, no one can suffer, as if no one ever found something pretty in another's violet bruises. Landfills form decorative parks in the region, with crude cartoon pipelines breathing out all the collected and handcrafted methane. When taking the tour, thoughts stand naked. You can imagine how someone would see pyramids arising from all that dizzying debris fetid with plastic obsessions webbed rampant. Collect all of our bags and forge a parachute or plastic boat, a certain set of lights flickering off and on until the ground dances, angry and relieved at the chance at outlasting civilizations. Seas expand without trapping. Tapes over mouths of rivers got ripped off by those banks. Sounds of the shape of trash to come got muted by the hush of that new harbor. Same water cleans and weeps and nourishes for the burn. You will not like it going down until tomorrow, arising with a black rose of lately not too late to wait on my waste composition, prepare and turn over. The world has always creased, always only upending and gone home sick. Laid waste to waste in ways of tasting that resulted in spit up blood, already exists, already exited. I am particularly grateful to these particularities in particle music. If any of this persists as an alibi, then know its knowledge preface sustains subsurface. We were sure of it, our lasting unlastingness. Entropy cracking and softly snapping into a medley of sediment. Birds go through windows to set an example for myself and for us. Thank you for everyone who came out. I told a few people, I've only been here for a week, but I told a few people to come out and they came, so I'm really excited and thankful for them. And thank you for hosting the reading. I'll read one more. Quiet King. The king was so silent that no one knew who the ruler was, and pursued past of their daily lives as if no one was in charge. There was little, if any, interest about expressions of domination and performances of violence. The king sat frequently with several others near or around them, never alone, and always smiling at the occasional music and subsequent dancing. Hierarchy was indistinct. No one could have suspected sovereignty floating around their presence, and the lack of noise about that whole affair seems to have affected and permeated the reality. So that a sequence of structures endorsing monarchy felt not only impossible, but imperceptible, materially, symbolically. Even a small fluttering or murmur would have been cause for alarm. The slightest shift registers. If those in charge, or their place for having obtained, never said a word, this fable continued, what would happen to the concept of charges? We could always use some duct tape, but if the decisions were made and sorted out that the king would choose to never speak, by which we might also mean, as it happened, any kind of performative utterance or move, the raising of a finger, the rolling of the eyes, the clicking of the tongue, the crossing of the legs, what might then happen to the ordering of this world, of no immediate relation to that world, the one which may come after? The altars might be like houses where no one would be barred entrance, for who would utter a word against them. Thank you.